Hi, fourth graders. It was so nice to see you on Monday, and I'm looking forward to seeing you this Friday, tomorrow in class. Our lesson for today is going to be Unit 1, Module 1, Session 2 with Bridges. I want you to take this time to either pause the video and get your station at home ready. You are going to need a pencil and your math journal. So go ahead and get those two things. If you need to pause me, you can do that. All right, we are going to get started. I am going to introduce to you problem strings today. A problem string is a series of problems that you will solve and discuss one at a time. They usually start off with an easier problem, and the problems will get more difficult as the strings continue. Solving the problems in a string involves thinking like a mathematician. So right now we're going to change our brains from being a fourth grader to being a fourth grader mathematician. And I want you to think all together, students, no matter where you are, we want to think and find clever and effective ways to solve problems. Effective strategies we have to think about. That effective strategies are quick and can be explained clearly. So during a problem string, we are going to solve each problem. We are going to talk about the strategies that we used and those answers, and we were going to discuss our thinking. Once we see each other in class tomorrow, we will be able to further discuss some of these questions and go over how to effectively practice them. All right, so let's get started. We're going to look at a question today. We need to help Miss Carter, and Miss Carter needs help from us. She needs to figure out how many packages of colored pencils are in Miss Carter's classroom if each of her students, her 32 students, brought in 3 packs. So we're thinking and we are looking at this question. This is going to be our overall question with all of our problem strings today. But now, before we get and dive in, we need to make sure that we are setting up our journal. That's why we have our pencil and our journal. So go ahead, if you need to pause the video, to set up your page, your left side of your journal, a brand new clean page to look like mine. We have the title section, number lines, problem string. And we have 4 times 2 equals our variable P. And I noticed that the problem string at the bottom is showing us a strategy. So again, if you need to pause me here, go ahead and do that. And then we will continue to talk about how we got that answer. All right, my friends. I am going to discuss with you how we'll be setting up our journal for the year. And I want you to notice that at the top that you labeled with the title. We are going to always make sure we are labeling with the title, especially so when we go through our journals to study or to review our work, we know exactly what we're talking about. Each time we work in our journals, we want to include the date and the heading. So we have to think about if we wanted to put the date on top of our journal, we are going to make sure we include it off to the side. And I noticed that today is 5/3/25. So I'm making sure that I am including the date there in the top. Wherever you can fit it. I notice I might have to bring mine down, but I make sure, and I want you to think in your brains, do I have the title and the date on top? All right, my friends, so this is our problem string for today. And there are 2 different strategies that I could use while I was solving this problem. I noticed that I have the number 4